Yo, what's going on? This is We Don't Need Permission, back with another episode. What's going on? Sydney in the building. What's going on, brother?
Welcome everybody back. Just grateful to be back for another week. Back with my brother. Life is good, man.
How's everything, man?
God is too good to me for me to complain about anything.
Hey,
so
man.
I'm just here by the grace of God and just grateful for everything, trials and tribulations, you know what I mean?
Right. Sometimes you just got to be grateful, man. That's all to it, man. How has this past week been? You was traveling, right?
Last week I traveled all last week, so my goal was to be home this week. And it's been good to be home. Last week was great.
Right.
Just being away. I was in Louisville.
Oh, nice.
Part of my week last week, and I got a tour of the Muhammad Ali Center.
Oh, nice. How was that?
Changed my life, man. Changed my life. Like, Muhammad Ali is incredible.
Right.
And for one of the people who I hold in high regard, for a link to him to bring me to Muhammad Ali.
Right.
For me to get a whole nother side of Muhammad Ali, like actually going to Louisville and understanding who Muhammad Ali was to Louisville. And like the Louisville group that sponsored him, right? Like you hear about them.
Right.
But like to understand, like the Louisville group still runs Louisville, bro. They like, you know what I mean?
Right.
To know that there was a black woman who was the attorney that put the Louisville group together and the contract.
Right.
Mind you, she was killed years later.
Oh, really?
I don't know about, I'm not getting in that, but eventually she was killed.
Right.
Murder never
solved.
Yeah.
I
But
get that a lot.
But the original contract and that black woman, to go through the Muhammad Ali Center and to realize, like, that man, like, at the height of his career, put everything on the line because of his beliefs and principles.
Right.
And, well, over the years he made money. It was never about money. It was really always about our community and being somebody who really, like, put it all on the line. Like, he literally went 4 years plus, like, without being able to exercise his craft.
Right. Which is incredible.
Like, bro, like, not feed your family because of a principle that you truly believe in. When people calling you and now we got people who could storm the Capitol.
Right. That's crazy.
We got a man that intentionally went and attacked Asian people, yet he was called a terrorist and treasonous
For not wanting to fight in a war.
because he said them people never did nothing to me.
Right. They ain't do nothing
And
to
my
me.
religion tells me that it's not my responsibility to go to war with people who ain't never did nothing to me.
Right. Why am I fighting your war? That's your enemy, if anything.
You're a traitor. You don't care about this country. You're so...
Right. You're a traitor for not wanting to kill other people. For no
Meanwhile, whenever the call throughout his life was to be there, to be a peacemaker, to be humanitarian, philanthropist,
right.
anchor of change, he put it all on the line with no money out.
Right.
Like, that's crazy, bro.
In fact, he should have been set up a lot better, if anything.
Come on, bro. Like, for real. So the work that I'm doing in Louisville, it's not even to make money, man. It's going to make money, but it's about to honor him, like, and I have an opportunity to honor him,
right,
and his legacy, and I got a small piece of that, right, and I literally take that thing so serious, like, I got in, like, almost, like, aggressive confidence.
That must be humbling, to be honest.
Bro, I took it so
can't
serious.
imagine.
I took all the weight on me, and somebody had to tell me, calm down, bro. It's not all your responsibility.
Right.
But when you get there and you see that this man, like, yo, for 4 years, he was the heavyweight champ of the world, and he could have just been like, man, bro, I don't know too many people who sacrifice for our community like that. Right. I don't know too many people who care about us like that. And
that was a powerful way of, like, just sticking to principle, like core principle universal principle.
Yo, like the thing is, like, right, and when you go to Louisville, like you realize, like, yo, in Louisville,
Mm-hmm.
it's like the Kentucky Derby, Muhammad Ali,
Mm-hmm.
like University of Louisville. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a lot.
Yeah.
And then it was crazy, son. I was there the day before the 1 year anniversary of Breonna Taylor. Matter of fact, I flew out the day of the night that everybody was coming in for the anniversary. So they were doing the march on Saturday. I flew out on Friday.
Oh wow.
And I was literally staying a block from the courthouse and everything. Like when I
Right.
stay in Louisville, like I'm staying a block from the courthouse, everything. So
Yeah.
so it was like
everything,
timing was got, and so like as everybody's flying in Louisville, I'm
You're
flying
out.
out of Louisville. So that was like God and everything too, because I didn't want to get mixed in that, because I wasn't there for that, right?
Right.
So I don't want to bring that energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that I don't want to help. I don't think that I should do something. I don't think there is a voice that could be heard from the work that we're doing, but that's not what I was there for. Right. I wasn't there to keep agitating. I was there to help bring this community together.
Right.
And I saw a great community. I met a lot of good people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful to be there. So, you know, I look forward to bringing that to this level,
Right.
because that's all about what we're doing with WDNP, right? Like, we're freeing. Like, our goal is to free people there through home ownership and other things.
Right.
And learning, like, to invest in the neighborhood, right? Empower yourself in this neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
As change is coming, you need to be a part of it and not complain about it later.
Correct.
You need to be on the cutting edge of it, like,
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. So I look forward to doing this work.
Right,
I'm grateful to
right.
God, to the people that brought me there,
Mhm.
for being there. You know, as our brother comes in,
Altorice, what's up?
Good
brother?
evening, good
just
evening.
grateful to be here.
What's going on, man? How you?
One day at a time. What else I'm gonna tell you?
I was just explaining Louisville and some of the work that I'm doing in Louisville, and just, you know, the last week and things that have, you know.
Louisville, sluggers? What you
Yeah, I was in
doing?
Louisville. I was in Louisville last week.
You out here beating people with Louisville sluggers?
Nah, I was no home of the slugger, but
Nah, so what was going on in Louisville? You was
um,
parking lot pimping out there? What you doing?
in the effort of not going through the whole thing, just working on a development project that is tied to the legacy of Muhammad Ali. And I
Okay.
told him I went through the Muhammad Ali Center, and I was really taken back by his commitment to our community and the sacrifice that he made, monetary wise, right? Monetary wise, because everybody always make the sacrifice, but when it comes down to that money and like him being able to feed his family, right? He really made some serious sacrifices because of his principles and his beliefs. And I just pray to God that I have that strength, right? That if it ever came down to that I could stand on those principles, knowing that God gonna take me through. Because if you look at the rest of Muhammad Ali's life, he would never tell nobody to feel sorry for him, to think twice. You know what I mean?
Right.
I read a quote in there, right? He was saying, when I'm running, right, and he'd be dead tired, he imagined that George Foreman behind him, coming up on him. So he'd make him run even harder, faster. And he uses that as motivation. And it's crazy because y'all don't know, I'm a runner.
Mm-hmm.
My first campaign, I used to wake up every morning at 6 o'clock. And I had a list of everybody who got approved to be on the ballot, right? And I made a running route that ran past every one of their houses. And in my mind, I would say to them, I'm running while you sleep.
Right.
I'm going to beat you because I'm going to outwork you.
Right.
And I'm that dog willing to do anything that I got to do to win.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference now, I do everything with principles of God.
Right.
Because I'm not willing to do, I'm willing to put all the effort in to do anything that I'm willing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Willing to win.
Right.
As long as it's caught in the principles of God.
Right. So how has your week been, Al?
It's been good, man. It's been good. You know,
Mm-hmm.
as good as we can have it. But I can't complain. You know, got the babies, school.
Right.
You know, work. You know, continue
It's
to build
always
this legacy.
It's
like,
always work there.
well, no, the work is guaranteed.
Right.
It's the grind that, you know, I love.
Yeah.
You know,
that
and-
day to day.
Yeah, we was out there today, you know, dropping off St. Patrick Day bags to the community.
Mm-hmm.
We gave out over 20 bags to families in East Orange
Nice.
and North. You know, we told them catch the lucky leprechaun. So we went Facebook Live. Went Facebook Live and just let them know where we was at. Told them to meet us here in a half hour, and we'll be here. So we got pictures and content to show how the people came out, and supported. Just to be able to just, like I was saying, we put on events, man. Like,
right.
Sydney, we put these events on. We do all these engagements, and sometimes we forget it's okay to meet people where they at.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what we call them pop-up shops now. Before, we call it roll up. We just that's where we're gonna meet at, man.
Right.
Like people, especially shout out, the people in Harlem. They already know back in them days in the '80s and the '70s, you just knew to meet there at the spot, and the next one would be 100, 300 people outside. So it was like that energy where, hey, this is where we at. The shout out to the youth. They can go on Facebook and say we right here.
Right.
20 people, 200 kids there. So it's like, so it's what we did. We popped up, like, But I had some, our parents, they strong out there, so they actually, they go in.
Mm-hmm.
Your boy wasn't dressed in green, but I gave a little greenish, grayish today, baby. But that's about Thanksgiving.
Nah, you said you brought the eyes.
Listen, don't see. I didn't want to go there because they be saying I be using the eyes. Like, nah. So yeah, the hazel eyes was in the building, but the ladies was out there. Green eye bandit can't stand it. But no.
That's why you and me get along.
Right. So we got a serious bond. We was actually what's the name? What's the word I'm looking for?
A trait.
Yes, it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody put me onto it. I thought they was lying. Like, you got such and such.
Right.
I don't play like that, man. I'm telling you what I got. then look, that's why Google, don't run from Google. But Google, there's a lot of people with mixed eyes like mine, and I'm talking about from animals to celebrities, all out. But off that trail. But just really, like I said, going out. The parents dressed in all green, had they dressed in their lucky leprechaun outfits and hats. Even my daughter Alana, shared in the experience, had the hat on out there. Because that's another thing. That Sydney know that for a fact. You got to put them out there while they're young to give them the experience of engagement. Give them the experience of community involvement where it's not a task. It's not a chore.
Right.
It's just an element of life. Like when I do my relational meetings, I'm meeting people. We get into the center of that leadership, and they tell me. A lot of them like, yo, my mom was this, my mom was that. It's ironic. I was talking to two people from Patterson, and it's funny because both of them told me my mom's or my dad. My mom's, both of them said my mom's was in the Young Lords, and I'm laughing in my head. I'm like, wow, we just started really getting into energy about them based on what we was talking about the brother, out there, the chairman. So it's just how all that, like, how I'm seeing hey, they was in Passaic County out there, like, back in the day. Wonder if they knew the Young Lords was up there.
Right.
But once again, they was organizing, man, and we get away from understanding this ain't a nuance. This organizing energy, this energy of making sure resources and people are together, making the choices without having to ask for permission on what they want to do. So, I'm always pushing that envelope, man.
Love it. So one of the guests, I actually just, I text you guys have an interview from him. His name is Kevin Blackford, right? That I want to get on down the line that we got to talk to. He's amazing. He is, Kevin Blackford was one of the members of the New York Buffalo Black Panther chapter, right? So as we talk about, like, not needing permission, you guys will see that interview, get to, that's the guy who's called.
Oh, yeah.
Dave was privy to the conversation, just high regard for him. I got to call him back. He was in the hospital doing some tests and things today about life.
Right.
As you get older, we got to do as men, which men's health, we definitely need to talk about Black men's health and making sure that we take care of ourselves.
Right.
Should definitely need to be an episode. But the epitome of, like what you're saying, organizing and not needing, like all his life, no matter what level they came, he's been organizing and
and not asking for permission. And I just have high regard for men like him, right? Because their names aren't plastic. They never wanted their names to be plastic. I can't believe he did that interview, right? So that's the only reason I have permission to tell you guys his name, right? Because he did that interview. So I know I can say that now, like, right? And, you know, but to know this man and to know, like, how they operated all for the betterment of our people, bro. If he just sold out for himself, he'd be filthy, like. Right. But it was about the betterment of our people always, like, man, just.
And another thing too, when we say the betterment of our people, the betterment of the community of those people. Like, so, like when we say our people, we don't want to put like all black people the same. Or so no, but in each one of those pockets, they were community organized, which means by default they knew at any time to come together and form like Voltron. It was on go. Right.
Yo, a friend of mine,
like they still did what they needed to do.
On that point, friend, my partner called me today. He just watched Judas and the Messiah, right? And the Black Messiah. He said, for the first time, he honestly saw who the real Fred Hampton was, and was never told in his life that Fred Hampton was busy trying to unify the skinheads and everybody, the different sectors and the different factors of Chicago.
And they just give him a scary Black Panther energy.
So you know what I told him? I said, my man, that's what the history books do. To keep him as a scary picture to you. This is my partner who's white.
At 21 years old, the scariest thing in America, the world.
This is what they do, you know. But, like, actually getting into tonight's topic, right, of we do it to ourselves, right? Because not only was there the Judas there, right, we do a shaming in our community, and we have a whole part of our community that never even that we do it to ourselves. So we got that Judas there, right? And then tonight's topic, what we were talking about is the Stimmies, right? Everybody want to talk about the Stimmies and knock people for the Stimmy, right? For those of you who don't know, it's called the stimulus check. The government
already broken down.
The Government Affordable Act, whatever they want to call it, right? But it's not just stimulus. Let's talk about stimulus checks and government assistance. And do they help us or do they hurt us, right? Right. One, I think nobody should be shamed for having a stimulus, getting a stimulus, or having. I think people who don't get it and shaming people are jealous. Right. Overall. I think one of the things that I did, once I knew the first portal was opened up, right? I literally was on the block with made everybody pull out their cell phones and start filling in their information for the portal of the non-filers. Right? So instead of knocking somebody, my whole thing was like, yo, let me find everybody with social security number, born in it. You're entitled to it. Right. It was an entitlement, bro. Exactly. As long as you got social security number, you born in. Man, I wanted to tell everybody, pull out that cell phone. Because I know you got a smartphone. Right. They have a non-filers link. Right. The non-filers link is down now. Oh, right? Yeah, because too many of us. Let's probably get into it, but I promise you, I got people on my block, Stimmies, that probably wouldn't have never thought they could get Stimmies because they've been locked up or this and that. Stimulus. And then the ones that owe child support and stuff, they was kind of mad at me, like, bro, man, I went to child support. I said, bro, what are you talking about? That at least took out some of that payment that you owe. It go to your children. Like, shut up. That's going to your kids. Like, bro, I don't hear what you're saying. You want to file and get it, and at least it's going to your kids.
Oh, no, when he files, it's going to child support again. It's going to child support again.
Yeah. So, I don't care.
Deal with that, though.
But I don't care.
You had the child support.
But I don't care. Why would you leave it on the table and not let the kid get it? Right. You that spiteful.
But that's why they do that way. That's why you won't get it. That's why it's going to come out your tax return.
You that spiteful.
And it's going to come.
Nah. So I made mine sign up. Like, give me that. Give me that social. Give me your phone. Because I don't need all these IP addresses coming from my phone. And I made everybody I could fill out the non-filer. To the point people coming to me now still like, Sid, we heard you. I'm like, bro, the website, the non-filer's down. You have to go literally to a tax filer, tax preparer. Right. And let them fill out the form. But you can still get your stimulus if you haven't filed. As long as you've been to jail, it don't matter. You were born in this country and you have a social security number, fill that out.
Right.
You are entitled to it. Now, there's all regulations and see, most of the people I'm dealing with didn't have to deal with the income requirements, right? So I knew they were eligible for it. We wasn't talking about income requirements.
Right.
And then I started thinking about it on another level, like, right? This is the same way we used to shame people for going to, like, I'm so happy that food stamps moved to a card because, like,
oh, the actual, like,
we used to shame
paper.
people for the paper and, like, the money. Like, oh, you got the food stamps. Bro, like, stop playing. Like, ain't none of us doing this COVID then wish we had some food stamps coming. Like, and if you had the food stamps and was sharing them and making sure other people were doing right because you had enough for your family and you wanted to, I thank God for you.
Right.
I thank God for you for being smart enough to understand, and I'll leave it there, right? Because we don't need to go too far. But I thank God for those people who were innovative enough to think like that because you helped other families during that time.
Right.
Make sure that they were good. And, man, I'm listen, therefore, by the grace of God, go out. I keep saying that. And what we're not going to do, we're not going to shame people for being on public assistance and using public assistance or using anything that they can get from the government, right?
It's nothing to be ashamed about.
It's nothing
That's
to
what
be
it's there
ashamed
for.
But we out here shaming us as a community.
Because at the end of the day, in the black community, we call it, like you said, welfare. But what do they call it in white communities?
Or the corporate community.
Because they call it bailouts.
Right.
They call it. It's always, and this country has always bailed out its community of citizens that they deem citizens. Start with that.
That they deem citizens.
Because this country is based off of land. Like when they came over here with their chart, they get the charters from the king. He gave them charters for the land. So this whole and that's why I love the fact this is about understanding the economics and understanding how we gotta build these ecosystems. So that stimulus money that came into our community, like we talk about it, but it went back to them just as quick. Like,
and that's the part I wanted to talk about.
We don't respect
there
it.
you
That's
go.
really what happened.
They own all the companies. So when you pay your insurance, when you pay your mortgage, I'm sorry to cut you off. But when you pay your insurance, when you pay your mortgage, when we go to buy clothes, whatever it is, they're getting the money back.
After getting bailed out. After getting saved.
Let's be clear. They're giving the money to what? To jump back the economy. Well, how they gonna jump back the economy? They're gonna give the money to poor black and white people, and they're gonna put that money where? Into this economy.
Right.
They ain't gonna put it into real estate. They ain't gonna put it into stocks and bonds. They ain't gonna put it into the thing. For one, how much they know about those things. Two, their habit of we're human beings. We do things by habit.
Right.
We have a habit of getting by. We got a habit of ain't no big come on. Can't even have more than $2,500 in my account.
What you mean a habit?
Like,
It's become the way of life for me. It ain't a habit because of generational issues that I deal with. I live check to check, and I can't have a vision that I can ever live beyond check to check because all I did was see my mother survive or barely make it, right? So I'm just barely making it.
Struggle through the process or even know how to do that.
Do that.
Because even if I see people who get it twisted, just because you've seen somebody successful, if we ain't respecting the process they went through to get successful, you don't really understand how stable that success is.
Exactly.
And
willing to sacrifice. And listen, you're not going to tell me that for me not having, the moment I get an opportunity to get, like, man, Kanye Ben told us, man. He said, I went to Jacob before I bought a house.
And then once he got the knowledge of how to really elevate, not just him,
but he had that feeling of spending it first.
But it's not even the feel. He was educated. He still would have kept spending until he got with the right clan and told them how to move.
Right.
Like, let's be clear. He married into the right clan of individuals to help him understand. Like, that woman is a manager. For real.
Mama
for real.
Like, she is a mom. Like, for real. Her
Not Bow Wow Mama.
Like, listen, her husband was one of the trial lawyers for OJ.
Right.
Like, he married into understanding how to build generational wealth. So yes, he started off, Kanye the Dapper Don, and now Kanye the investor and has his money
designer and all of that.
No, remember when Kanye was screaming, I'm down on such and such millions and blah, 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 blah. Now his company's valuated at billions. Because during that time, he didn't need permission. He said, I'm going to get into the fashion world, You guys are gonna try to lock me out, but I know I'm so strong and I know what the people want.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in myself. I don't need permission.
Right.
I'm going to kick the door in. So he went in debt millions to now come up billions. And see, that's what I'm saying. Scared money don't make no money.
So
If you don't invest in yourself, you don't believe in yourself, how you gonna make some money?
But let's give him another element because we want to push on the process. Because he did go in, and as far as in the process, and he learned, to your point, no, I can't ask these cats for nothing. Because the process, he came with his man.
Mm-hmm.
Would you guys spend money to make money?
But no, I'm talking about before he even went there, he came in as like, we're going to come into the world. Because even before he got the Easy and he had to deal with Reebok, that I'm talking about then.
He had to lose. I got what you said.
He started then.
Word.
And that's
it
when
didn't even was the Adidas, right?
Come on, he had to. It was so before it was the Easy.
He had to go.
He had that Reebok energy, and that was when he started peeping the game, and then that's when he also started seeing the equity in the game.
Right.
And he seen that, hey,
I
we're not
need-
gonna tap you, Kanye. We're gonna get your man.
Right.
We're gonna tap him, bring him over here, and let's be clear. My man looking at Kanye like, dude, you good regardless. So, you know where I got you with double back.
Right.
And what happened? Brother spent off, got his deal with them, started becoming a designer with all those high-priced people, and Kanye's on the outside. Because the people who was working with him to design these sneakers in the beginning and coming up, they all got deals.
Right.
And that's what they do to us. They get the people behind you, give them opportunities, boom, 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 and then they spread out. And if they're not really loyal, like a Wu-Tang, like a, certain groups where they understand, like, listen, if I get the deal, 20% coming back to the home team.
Right.
The home team, y'all go get a deal, so we always got money at the home team. But each one of us going to have our own energy, but we know we're going to kick back 20% to the home team, a.k.a. we're going to give our tidings
I got a question.
back to the way of life, religion.
I got a question.
What's up?
You consider yourself middle class?
Say it again?
Do you consider yourself middle class?
Nah, I consider myself one check and one engine failure away from poor.
Do you consider yourself middle class?
Nah.
All right.
Shoot.
So basically, right?
That's real.
So basically, right? I don't really have a middle class black network. I didn't grow up with middle class black that have that network, right? My network is black people from impoverished neighborhoods and white people from wealthy neighborhoods. That's my network. Because I live where I live and I went to school where I went to school.
Mm-hmm.
So you ain't gonna never have me shame the people where I came from. And you ain't never gonna have me go to these people and tell them that the people where I came from are dependent or lazy or what's saying. Because I always say this. I got friends that started at -10 and I got friends that started up 10.
Mm-hmm.
We fighting just to get back to 0.
Right.
They starting up 10. They running to 20, 30, 40, 50. Before
That's
it's all
really
over.
That's really up 20.
Okay? Up 30, 40.
Right.
Right? So, with that said, like, I'm never going to condemn somebody for just trying to get back to 0. Because you fighting and clawing to get back to 0. And there's really no roadmap to get back to 0. Right? And 0 was created by a system. 0 was created by family, friends. 0 was created by so many different other things that lead me to believe that it's almost impossible sometimes. Like, it's literally almost impossible. It's literally almost impossible.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Like, and then, like, when then life start to hit you, right?
Happened. I had this every week and it ain't never happened.
Then when life start to hit you, right? And these setbacks start to hit you, like they're felony, right? So now I can't go to school when I decide to go to school because I can't get financial aid. And then I do go to government assistance. Then I got everybody on social media clowning me for just trying to get a leg up.
Right.
Like, this crazy. Like,
But see, that takes too
crazy
much.
as a community,
That takes
bro.
too much giving a F.
Yeah,
Like,
but
just what I just
but
heard,
guess
too
what? When
much
you
giving
down,
a F.
you give a fuck.
No, you're not about everybody else. I've been down. I didn't care. When I didn't care.
Well, that's why. But
that's like when we talk about
everybody's
like.
not. Everybody's not like that.
But then everybody's not like that either. And that's what I'm trying to say.
True.
So let's highlight the fact that at the end of the day, we all been through something, and what's the process of getting out of it? Because that's because I remember ex-offenders call me every day, bro. Like, I'm always on the jack. I got some. My accountant asked me to talk to.
So what's your process for getting out of it?
Say it again.
What's your process for getting out of it?
Building network, building community, and not using the one that I came out of. So we run back to our families and said, my family is my support. The family was there when you did what you did. So at the end of the day, you got to network with other people.
So change people, places, and things?
From the go. And be real. Be serious about that, and don't just talk it and know that smooth saying. Change people, places, and things. Really do it.
I think you got to be grounded in faith first. I think if you don't have faith, you can't.
You got to be grounded in the faith that is possible. Let's be clear, because religion is a way of life. But so my way of life is spirituality, and I'm grounded in the fact that I'm gonna do the right things for the right reason. I'm gonna understand that it's a boomerang. What goes around comes around. Karma is real. So just on that way of life of thinking, I got the faith and the hope that I'm gonna stay steadfast, and I'm gonna take. Come on, boy. I took a lot of backdoor slaps on trying to come up to where I've come up to. Just don't celebrate it because it's the process. Same way somebody tried to stick me up for the bird. It's the process. At the end of the day, the game is to be sold, not to be told. But the very element about the game is this GAME, ghetto attitude, manipulating environment. At the end of the day, it's going to happen. What you're going to do about it is more important. 1090.
Right. What
happens to you is not more important than how you respond to it. And that's what we got to implement in individuals who coming up. Because it's still, even when you get to a certain level, it's still more BS to deal with. So it's not. So you gotta embrace that BS. You gotta take it, and you gotta understand that this is the society we live in. We're not living in a place where it's just love, peace, and hair grease. We would love to be, and we would love for everybody to come up, but it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be hard, and you're gonna have to be willing to take that glass of alcohol that you got in there that you keep sipping on, but want something different. Yo, I want to sober up, but you keep drinking this alcohol. And then it was like, nah, don't worry about it. And then you pour some juice in it. Like, nah, it ain't all alcohol. You still going to be drunk.
Right.
Pour the whole thing out, boss, and put some water in there, some H2O, and start cleaning it up. And that's what the process is, because still trying to do the same thing, expect something different in your process, it's going to bring you back, man.
Right. And then I like what you said as far as, like, being down and coming out of it, and your family being around and you coming back and looking to them as your support system. It's like, damn, y'all was around and y'all saw it.
So no, I meant on a level where even if your family was the ones telling you don't do it wrong,
right,
and they was trying to, and they was bailing you out, going to get you out of jail, blah blah blah, doing whatever.
It wasn't enough to.
Nah, they still support, but what support? They enabling.
Right.
So it's like, no, I got my family gonna support me. They gonna keep enabling you, player.
Right.
Or the flip, they'll leave you alone, cut you off. So at the end of the day, don't use the factors that was already there.
Right.
Add more to that. I ain't saying that factors of family ain't no.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
I'm saying it ain't enough.
It ain't enough.
Cause you got there with that already.
With or without it.
No, you got there with family. If you say I'm going back to my family, they're gonna support me. They was there already.
Right.
What element did you play with them then? Now you saying now that you can come home, you gonna change it up because of them. No, you gonna change it up because of them and some more stuff that you bring it to the table.
Right.
Because if you think it's just gonna be them again, then what's real? You gonna have to hit me with the real surrenderance that you gave me. Because you now gonna tell me that anything they say, you jumping.
Right.
When they say jump, you just say ha. And that ain't what you was treating them before. Even when you were doing your bid, you wasn't treating them. You better get that money on up here. So now all of a sudden you about to go home, and now all of a sudden you gonna do whatever your mother tell you, whatever your family tell you.
Right.
Now you gonna do it when Oscar, when the other brothers, when some men, or even maybe a woman hit you in the head with something. I remember I came home one time, and there's no disrespect to CNC Sodas or the hood. But I took the young lady out. We got to lunch. You know, I'm working at the CPA firm, coming up at home like 8 months. I got me a little CPA gig. I got the suitcase top. Thinking somebody in there. Take the shorty to lunch. We at the Chinese restaurant. We get the Chinese menu on the lunch special. Boom, boom, boom. So I get the soda out the jar. I give her a soda. She was like, "Oh, nah, I'm good." I said, "What's wrong? You don't want no soda?" She said, "Nah, I don't want no CNC. You could get a Sprite." I was like, oh. She said, "Why they only sell CNC in the hood?" I said, she said, "I ain't never seen CNC out the hood." And then after that, Word is born. So I'm looking for it out the hood. I couldn't find it. I said, oh, same thing with the Arizonas. So it's just little stuff like that she don't know. She helped that process of me trying to, hey, boom.
Right.
Nah, she hit me with the, I'm like, not that CNC or Sprite, either one of them is for us to begin with.
Right.
I'm just saying levels to this.
Yo, I think Arizona lived in Short Hills.
Arizona
I think
coming up for a minute.
Son, I think
Arizona been 99 cents forever.
Son,
I do know what's something wrong with it.
No, I really think the owner of Arizona come from from being in private school, like literally, like he been killing them for years, like he live in Short Hills, like he been killing them.
That's
Like,
crazy.
we probably moved out of Short Hills now, but I'm almost positive. I'm not trying to like give people information on this man, probably. But I'm just saying, like,
Why we can't be like Baskin Robbins?
okay,
Everybody owns stock.
Right.
The whole city.
okay. I want to Google who own Arizona drinks.
You know that, right?
What?
That ice cream. Or was it Ben and Jerry's? I think
Ben
it
and
was
Jerry's.
Ben and Jerry's.
Ben and Jerry's.
Ben and Jerry's. Ben and Jerry's. The community owned.
No, they different.
Yes.
But
They
wait,
different.
Green Bay Packers. Community owned.
No, you know who else
On the
did
team.
it? You know who else did it? Killed it. The yogurt, that famous fancy Greek yogurt. He went and gave all the people stock options, like blessed people. It was factory workers that became millionaires because he just.
So
he
why
went
Well
public.
Boy did it for title, it was a problem.
Okay. Because he's
Say that again.
When he went and gave everybody his boys in them stock, the company was a problem. Like, I don't see, that's my thing, man. And you kind of, I think you kind of leaned into it when you were sharing your worlds, because even with the stimulus money, that's coming, it's all your money. It's all taxpayer money, so it's your money.
It's yours anyway.
Starting in with that.
Right.
So the hype for it ain't there.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Chobani.
Chobani. That's
Who?
The Greek yogurt, Chobani.
Oh, that's the name of
Yo,
it.
factory workers own stock in it.
What country?
He gave 'em- huh?
This country?
The guy came here, immigrated, started the Greek yogurt years ago, and then when he went public, he blessed them all. I'm talking about blessed them. Like, changed their lives.
And
Because they rolled it out with him for 15, 20 years.
now imagine how many companies could have done
Could've done
that
that.
over the 100 years, bro.
Right.
Just in the 19s, man. Not in 2000, not even in 20 years. Just real talk. If they wasn't lynching us, if they wasn't scaring us to death to own, if they wasn't cutting us out, like what's my man name that owned Ebony? Like he had to actually when he got that building in Chicago, he had to go in there and buy that with a white man
Right.
and act like he was the janitor.
Ain't
You
that,
laugh, but it's real.
But that's the part I'm talking about starting behind.
And he had a major marketing firm. He had a huge publishing energy, but he still had to succumb to, at the end of the day, I don't care how much money you got.
But that's the part what I'm talking about where I get upset because for me, right? Like, and this is the part where God has to kick in and I have to get forgiveness because it's like, yo, how am I get mad at the people on the corner for taking their opportunity when that man did everything right, went in there prepared with the right money, everything to buy something, and because of the color of his skin, he had to go do everything up under around the corner just to get what he had worked for and prepared for. That's crazy to me, man. And that frustration, that's why I can't look at somebody on the corner for doing what they doing and say, oh, you feeding a poison to your community. They feed alcohol to our community every day. Alcoholism is just as effective as drug use in the community. And what I know is that it ain't all our community that come in and buy it. It's their community too.
Well, how about our community don't run the movement?
right.
Like you ain't getting no license. You ain't the one opening up the liquor store. You ain't opening up the bar. And when you do open the bar, it'll be shut down in 2 months because they either gonna run you down with all types of coding or so we gonna get too drunk.
I really,
Tear it up.
no, I really want.
I
really want
me
people-
joking. I joke too. I know we ain't gonna tear the club up.
No, I really want people to go and
Shout out
look
to
at this.
3-6
Right?
Mafia.
I really want people to go look at this because this was in upstate New York, man. This was 2016. This was 5 years ago, man. That man met all his workers and gave them their shares in the privately held company as it So or goes public. So
and how that legacy change, how that changed legacies for those people's families, man. Not just those people.
Right.
But he
after.
But he changed the mindset, right? And this is what we're trying to do with this podcast. We're trying to change the mindset. We used to work together. Now we partners. We partners in this. So every day you come in here, right? You're not just slaving for somebody else. You're slaving. You going to make yourself.
Because we don't work for nobody. We work with.
Right.
It's a whole difference. When you're working with, it's partnership. When you're working for,
Would you say? Yes, sir. It's definitely none of that.
Because there's a level, like, man, come on, people came over indigent service, so there's people who came over here knowing, like, I'm about to give up 20 years of my body and labor to be able to stay over here. But what about the people who, at the end of the day, and I'm talking about maybe fast forward now, that 20 years turned into 40, 60 years. We have to retire at, what, 70 now?
Just about. I think it's 67.
Well,
damn near 70.
So by the time we get up there, man.
So no, it's a trick, right? It's a trick because if you, I just figured this out with my mother, which is crazy, right? If my mother waited till she was 70, so let me tell you what happened. My mother got scammed, where she got a call where somebody took a lump sum of money from Social Security on a green dot card this summer. Or last summer. It was nice big change, right? Because my mother kept working after 65. And somebody had hacked the IRS system and realized people who are still working and older 65 are entitled to a lump sum. So somebody was going through claiming those lump sums for the people. My mother just so happened to go to Social Security to figure out what would her Social Security look like, because she was thinking about retiring. And they like, yo, you got this lump sum, blah, blah, blah. She like, no, I didn't get that. Then they did a background, found out it went to a green dot card. My mother like, why would I ever have money go to a green dot card? I have bank accounts, and you guys have been sending me money, whatever, to my bank. Like, right? Whole scam. IRS don't even want to talk about it. IRS not even explain it.
We should bring that article up next week, man, because that's interesting.
It's not an article. It happened to my mother, and I realized in her happening, like, nobody talked about it. Ma'am, we sorry. Let's get it right. You don't have to worry. We know what's going on.
So somebody got that money still.
Somebody got that money clean. It went to a green dot card.
But
once it went to the green dot card, it's over.
I doubt that she the only one that got victimized like that.
That's what I'm saying. There was a whole group of people it was people who were 65 and older that were still working who had not claimed their benefits. And let me tell you the scam, right? My mother just found out that if you claim after 70, you can't claim that back money between 65 and 70. So just because my mother went and claimed now, before she turned 70, she's going to get the money. But if not, the money, you can't get the money. So there's a whole system that they might have thought she was going to 71.
We're going to get that.
They might have thought she was going into 71.
Retirement.
And never even claim it. Because my mother's approaching 70.
Right.
So they could have been trying to get ahead of, or who knows? But the IRS, the Social Security's not talking about it. Social Security's not talking about it. And how many of those people who then work to 75, 8, and don't
have their money
and don't get that
they're entitled to? But that's interesting.
And it got scammed out the system to a green dot card. So that's them hackers.
And how about this?
Come on, man.
This country is going to create an energy where it's going to help protect you against that.
Exactly.
And it's going to charge you. And we're going to charge you. They can charge you for everything.
You get charged for everything in this country.
Man, this country, they scare you. They hit you with the fear factor, and they hit you with the supply and demand.
But it goes back to
but they make sure that what they try to supply you ain't really something you really need.
Right.
But you keep.
It's a convenience.
But let's go back to under that King's Charter, right? Under that King's Charter, you had to own land to vote, right? That's how they set it up from the beginning. If you ain't own land, you ain't even have a right to vote. So how you gonna vote? You don't even own land. And what they were saying is, why should I take your opinion into? To me, this is what I'm thinking. Why should I take your opinion into factor when you're not even paying taxes into the system that keeps?
Well, back then.
That's
not back then. It was, why do I pay you any attention when you ain't a part of this class?
Because you don't own land.
It ain't about taxes, because at the end of the day,
paying taxes was to them.
It was already a thing.
But paying taxes to them was their, that was their bravado. Like, I pay taxes.
But see, I don't think that. I think the bravado was, I own this. And this is like we talking about the British company. We talking about the Dutch company. I'm talking about
as we transition into the early America.
Yeah, because now you don't got no land.
No, but I own this land now.
No, not most of these people don't own this. Most of these people are poor.
Oh yeah,
It's like back when the Civil War. Like,
and
most
that's
people
what I'm saying.
fought in the war was poor.
And that's how, and that's where it was the whole thing, right? That's where it becomes now.
We got trailer parks and live in apartments and projects, huh?
Now let's make the law. If you don't own land,
but they pay their taxes, so that's what they live on. Like, yo, I'm a taxpayer,
and that's what I was saying. That's what they was beating their chest on. I'm a taxpayer. I vote.
It's like beating your head on AstroTurf. You're like, die. That's ground you hitting. That's ain't no dirt under there. That's cement.
Yeah, you're for it.
Because at the day, when we gonna stop? Like, when we gonna stop and respect? At the end of the day, we live in America, man, and America's a capitalist society. And at the end of the day, if you don't move in that fashion, then you still gotta understand the game that's just being moved around you.
Right.
And I'm not mad at
Because
anybody.
here.
I'm not mad at anybody who's swallowed up by the game either. You're gonna stop shaming people who swallowed up by the game because, bro,
That's where liberation come from. That's why we gotta help them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're right.
Exactly.
I'm not about shaming them, but at the same time, I'm not gonna let you fall back on the wayside. And to your point, we ain't gonna let people shame them.
No.
Because that's the hit. Because think about it, that's what I had to deal with too. Had to deal with the shaming part, but then I didn't care. Like, dude, I'm blessed that then I've been through so much. You can't shame me.
Right.
You ain't been through enough to shame me.
Yo, I was a councilman, right? I was a councilman, and I was sitting talking to one of my constituents, and we got cool, because I was 24. I was a councilman. I'm really from the neighborhood. We just talking. She yeah, councilman. My daughter's 16. I signed out for Section 8 right now, so by the time I'm 18, she can get her Section 8. And that did a lot to me, right? Because I couldn't shame her. I couldn't hurt her. Because she wasn't doing it to brag. She wasn't doing it.
She was talking about her come up. She was talking about, I got a plan, councilman. And unfortunately, that's how her plan can go.
Right.
Not her as a person. She
And
just
that's
wasn't
why we have to
exposed to more plans in the process to get to those plans.
There you go.
That's what happened. I got exposed to other people's plans and listen, man, I got exposed to so many people's plans and realized how marginalized they were. How you really lame, bro.
Exactly.
And it's this easy to get from you.
Right.
Because you really ain't man, it's too much. Nah, let me shut up. Give away the secrets. Because these cats is easy, man.
But the biggest
I don't
thing,
want to do nothing.
so the biggest thing that I've learned and the biggest thing that I focus on is exposing, man, and using my exposure in life wherever I go around the country, around the world, to bring back that exposure, and then to encourage everybody to come with me. That can come with me, right? Anybody that is prepped and ready, let's go. Because
And the ones who not, I'll be back.
I'll be back,
Right.
and then I'm gonna always drop a jewel on
That's
you. Right?
the hill.
I'm gonna always drop some gems on you because I want to light that spark, right? Is what is that spark in you that's gonna make you come with me, right?
Harriet Tubman said at the end of the day, you coming or not.
You coming or not?
And once you get to a certain level, you ain't going back.
Right.
The other plan that I have is to help everybody else around you, right? To the point where you start to look around and see everybody moving up, and you don't want to get left out.
How about you become a product of your environment? Because if your environment is the product that got you down, how about the new environment that you're
It's to
around?
lift you up.
And that's what goes back to my first point.
Right.
As far
Amen.
as your support system, it got to be the next level.
Amen.
Not disrespecting your core and your base, but you got to build on that base because it just wasn't strong enough to keep you out of Yardville, player.
Right.
I'm sorry, it just didn't have it. I get it, but you got to bring some more pepper, some more spice to that gumbo. You ain't got no shrimp in that gumbo, bro.
I've never had gumbo.
Oh, you didn't?
Nah,
Oh man, you missing now.
I gotta get into that.
He had gumbo. He used to live in New Orleans. I ain't gonna tell you what happened to him.
I don't really.
He don't like New Orleans.
I don't really miss the gumbo because I only pork, and they put everything.
Yeah, they do actually.
They put everything. And gumbo got a lot of sausage.
Yeah.
Yo, I heard about this thing from Alabama called whatchamacallit.
The candy bar?
No.
It's a candy.
I'm done. He just asked me, was it a candy bar called whatchamacallit?
No.
I know I'm too old now.
No.
is literally a pot where they put like, and this is the thing, right? This is the thing that I understand. Like, even in the whatchamacallit, why I won't eat it, because it's a lot of pork in it.
There was a book called whatchamacallit, too.
It's like a pork in it and all these things. And like any down home Alabama know I'm not lying, right? It's everything. Corn, pork, seasoning. It's all this stuff, right?
They know about King Cotton down there, too.
I realized that as slaves, we got the scraps. And they had to put whatever they could on the flavor of the scraps to make that taste better, whatever. Put it all and make what they can. So I don't eat pork, so I don't eat it. But if I ate pork, I would eat it out of respect. For it originated from people just trying to make do with the best they can. They didn't have the luxury to talk about organic, okay?
Vegan.
They
talked about leftover.
Right.
Scrap.
Get that.
Put some seasoning on.
Hog Moss chitlin.
Put some seasoning on them pig feet, and we're going to eat them so we can eat.
Right.
We eat the pig from the rooter to the tutor.
Not because they wanted to.
Because they had to.
Because it was left.
Yeah.
And that's what they was given. And I'm not saying that we can't do better. We can. But we also can't shame them people for doing what they had to do to get us to the point that we know to do better. I know to do better now because of my grandmother's high blood pressure. I know to do better because of my grandmother's high cholesterol, my grandfather's high cholesterol levels. I know to do better because of the chronic systematic health issues that they've dealt with year after year, right? But I wouldn't know to do better if they didn't go through it, so I ain't going to shame them.
Right.
I'm grateful to God that they went through what they went through, and I just want to honor them by doing better and making sure, you know.
Right.
You're right. No shaming. At the end of the day, we all come up, man. Yeah, did you?
Any way we can, by any means necessary, come up, black people.
One day at a time, man. And one of us at a time. Like, just gotta continue to multiply.
For real.
Because the information is out there. We at the point where it ain't even hard to tell. It's just now, really finding your way to read this power. And reading is not, reciting words. It's comprehending.
Right.
So if you're not comprehending what's in front of you, it don't have to be literal. You don't have to say it. You have to really be able to understand how to read this energy, read this power, read the elements, the variables that's in front of you. But it takes time. That's why I keep saying the process is real.
Right.
What they say in business, the 3 Ps, people, products, and product. Same thing, man. Invest in people. Care, build relationships, understand the stories of people, and then respect the process, the structure of the resources those people got within them, understand the strategy we can build with those resources, and now let's get to the product, aka the action.
Right.
This is like this very thing they're using on us can be flipped.
Right.
It's just what we doing.
Yeah. Literally, what we doing? What are we doing? Hey, man, we don't need permission.
Oh, well, that's the blessing. Do we need a push to be able to go out there and start doing it and to open our doors? We give so much game away in our community. Like, I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem with we think that we can really continue to rob Peter to pay Paul and to come up versus just go ahead and barter, man. Like, man, just go ahead and give it to you, man, because I know you got something to flip in. For me, so let's just do that together, and that way we get right past this money thing. Because everybody got investments, right? Right. Time, energy, and money. That's an investment. We take it that if it's just money, you ain't got no investment in it. If I give you my time and my time and energy costs. Right. I just ain't tell you, my brother, it costs $75 an hour because I thought we was on the up and up. But if you tell me I ain't got no money up front on the table, my time and energy is on the table, and it costs you $100 an hour.
I'm very clear to people. I'm very clear to people that take me for granted. If you honor what we set up, our schedule, everything, we good. You don't honor that, I'm very clear because that my time is money. I get paid to be a consultant for companies. So every moment that I'm not working for other people and doing that work for other people, I'm
working with
other people,
your clients,
my clients. I like saying working
your business partners.
I like saying working for my clients because it humbles me. Because that is my client, right? And I cater myself to that client. I don't change my core principles, but I cater myself to that client because every client doesn't need the same level of energy from me, right? Or the same level of
output, respect, right? So that's why I say working for, and it's a humility, right? Because in the independence, I understand that we all still have to work for, we still have to make relationships work, right? Like, so I can't go off and be so independent, right, that I upset the ecosystem for what other people have going on that are close to me. And part of not needing permission to me is not about just being saying, oh, I can just do whatever I want, how I want. No. Part of not needing permission is saying, how do we work through the shadows together, right, as a collective, right, to get to the ultimate goal of changing the system. Not necessarily being able to just uproot the system or disrupt the system with no results. I need not just the words, I need a call to action that can get our people to a different level. And even if it takes a step by step.
No, it's going to take step by step.
I'm willing to do that.
That's how it got to where it got to every time.
I'm willing to do that. But I feel like if we don't even get a step started, how can we get there? And part of that is not shaming us and those who come from different circumstances. Because I don't really know what a middle-class African-American looks like. To me, that means your household's got to be coming over $250,000, $300,000. You got mom and dad in the household. You got, you're living in the suburbs somewhere. And I'm not shaming you. I'm happy for you. I'm grateful. I'm just saying I don't get the opportunity to run across those people.
Right.
No, I guess because I don't want to. I guess it ain't you. I don't know I guess the difference between shaming and holding people accountable.
Exactly.
Because you're right. I'm not aiming to shame anything, but on the same token, I'm not. We can't stay stuck either on all the myths or the real actionable things that happen to get us here.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I gotta respect the past, or I'm doing to repeat it. Yet I can't live in the past.
Right.
Definitely can't live in it. I'm not living it.
I'm gonna go back and check it out because there goes back that humility. Going back to remember where you came from.
Repeats itself.
Yeah, I guess I don't know, man. 2020 messed me up in the level of even just now when I use the word client. I don't like everything to me is partnership, man. And if I can't build a partnership, and a partnership has levels.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying 50-50. I'm saying partnership. It could be 95-5. Right. But it's a partnership. It's a partnership in a love because I can't work for nobody, and I don't want you to work for me.
Yeah.
I need you to work with me.
Yeah, I don't want.
I need to be able to call you accountable on something you own. Not something you work for. You own this too, player. I only own 5%. Work harder. You're going to get up there and play. I'm telling you. One day at a time. I'm telling you it's going to happen. But I'm not just going to give you 45% of my equity.
Right.
And anything I'm doing. Because at the end of the day, we talk about business. What is a business? Let me ask you, what's the first business you ever owned and operated?
Me?
Yeah.
I started a cleaning company in 2017.
What about you, Cindy? What's the first business you ever owned and operated?
I'm gonna be honest with you. First business I ever owned and operated was me and my boys. Like that's the only, like us getting to it. Like that was the first. Like yeah, like we was never, and we wasn't knocking them. We just had too much access and we was exposed to too much other stuff, right? Like, so we wasn't going to Pathmark bagging groceries. We wasn't trying to sell newspapers. Like, I was too cool in high school to get a job at McDonald's, right? Because I knew other ways to get to it. And it wasn't, and I'm saying that shit wasn't cool. Like, and I wasn't knocking the guys that go to McDonald's. I was like, yo, that's for him. But for me, I could get to it. Like, and I lived by 78, like, when people come off 78, and after certain people get locked up, other people pull up right next to you and just be like, yo, you got it. Like, so at some point, you're going to get it.
So when you decided to go do that business, what was the stimulation to go get involved in other people's business?
Money. It was all money. All we was motivated by was money.
Me, just the opportunity. One, any business that I do, I look at it as a vehicle just to help whoever's around me.
So I say all that to bring it back to, I believe me definitely, and I believe so many of us all, the first business we ever owned and operated was ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And everything you did was to elevate your business.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happened a lot of us get educated in certain platforms where we get to take that to another thinking, another place of understanding. Because we all say mind your business. We all say stay out of my business. We all making sure everybody understand this right here belong to me.
Mm-hmm.
But really, what you doing is what's inside your store.
Right.
What inventory you really got in there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I started to look at myself and understand at the end of the day, the first and most important business is me. Because when you selling, who are you selling? That product?
Now you're selling yourself.
Talk about it. I need no permission, man.
Yo.
Pimp or sell itself.
Yo, we out of here.
God bless. Good